Hello delegates, welcome to the EMS Model United Nations Virtual Conference 2020. My name is Natasha Irene and I will be serving as the President of the Security Council for this conference.
Hey delegates, I'm Keshav Deoskar and I will be serving as the Vice President of the Security Council during this virtual conference. As the Vice President, it is my honor to welcome you all and to ensure that you have a memorable experience.
Hi delegates, I am Shreja Janarthanan and I will be serving as the Rapporteur for this conference. I will be assisting the Bureau to ensure that the rules of procedure are followed at all times, the agenda flows peacefully, and that the delegates do not divert from the topic at hand.
During the course of this webinar, you will be briefed on Council proceedings, position papers, and the process of resolution making. We will also introduce the topic at hand scheduled to be discussed during this conference.
The United Nations Security Council is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations charged with ensuring international peace and security. The 5 permanent members of the Security Council are China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America. The non-permanent members are elected on a regional basis to serve a term of 2 years. To be approved, a candidate must receive at least 2/3 of all votes cast for that seat. Unlike the non-permanent members, the P5 have the right to veto any resolution taken up by the Council.
We would first like to brief the delegates on the topic which we at the Security Council hope to address. In terms of temperature and geopolitical activity, the Arctic region has never been hotter. The role played by the Arctic region in the development of its surrounding nations is increasingly significant. As new shipping lanes and previously inaccessible reserves of oil, gas, and minerals become available, many important questions arise. How will the vast resources of the Arctic region be exploited? By whom and in what proportions? The enticing potential that this region holds has attracted not only the Arctic states but also other superpowers looking to benefit. With increased human activity in the region, as well as increased geopolitical tension, deliberation between nations and a thorough revision of policy is necessary to ensure peaceful development. The Security Council has taken it upon itself to address this topic, suggest possible changes, and work towards eliminating the problem. Delegates, for more detailed information on the topic, you are advised to read the background guide available on the EAMUNC website, which will give you a better understanding of the topic and give you a head start for your research. Okay, delegates, next up are the rules of procedure. The rules of procedure are imperative to ensure effective flow of council sessions, and therefore it is essential that each and every one of you be thorough with them.
Each session begins with a roll call wherein the Bureau member will call out the names of the member states in alphabetical order. Delegates are expected to raise their hands and say present when their country has been called out. The roll call is the first thing you do in a council. In case a delegate arrives after the roll call, he or she is expected to send a note to the chair confirming their presence. The flow of debate has 3 phases, namely the general debate, informal consultations, and the formal meeting or action phase, where adoption of the resolution by consensus takes place. General debates are an opportunity for each delegate to outline their nation's general thinking on the topic, highlight any particular national concern, and suggest incentives or any other course of action the delegate intends to pursue at the conference. The order of the speakers as well as the time limit per speech will be predetermined by the Bureau. I advise you to keep it between 45 to 60 seconds. Should you exceed the time limit, we may have to cut short your speech so as to ensure that every delegate has a chance to voice their opinion. The general speakers list is the moment the whole council gets to know about your research and your country's stance on the topic. Think of it as your first impression. In addition, if a delegate feels the need to respond to a statement made by another country, he or she is allowed a statement to reply. This is known as the right to reply. A delegate who wishes to exercise this right can do so twice during the entire general debate, once all the delegates have had a chance to speak. Delegates, do note that the rules of procedure followed in the Security Council differ slightly from those followed in other committees. At the Security Council, delegates do not break away into blocks. Instead, the resolution is drafted by the Council as a whole, and the final resolution is based upon the Council's decision. For a more detailed explanation of the proceedings, please refer to the rules of procedure available on the EAMUNC website.
Next is the process of resolution writing. The resolution is one of the two documents prepared by the United Nations Security Council. The resolution is the most important part of any MUN. Resolutions are prepared by mutual agreements amongst member nations. Delegates, do keep in mind that the main goal of this conference is not to have cutthroat competition amongst fellow delegates. It is instead to work together in order to draft a comprehensive and elaborate resolution which adheres to all countries and strives to solve the problem in the most efficient manner possible. Resolutions consist of two parts, the preambulatory and operative paragraphs. First, the preambulatory paragraphs. These specify steps already taken by any of the member nations in order to address the aforementioned problem. These will begin with any of the preambulatory clauses which have been clearly specified on the EAMUNC website. Next come operative paragraphs. These specify the steps that member nations wish to take to solve the problem brought about by the aforementioned topic. These will begin with any of the operative clauses which have also been specified on the EAMUNC website. The draft resolution will be displayed for all delegates, and following this, there will be a line-by-line review of the draft resolution. Delegates can utilize this opportunity to make amendments. A proposed amendment can add a paragraph, delete a paragraph, or modify an existing paragraph. Once all amendments have been made, the Council moves into the action phase. At this point, the Chair will ask the delegates if there are any objections to the draft resolution. If there are none, the draft resolution is adopted by consensus and is renamed Resolution 1.1. Discussions should aim towards building a consensus. For those unfamiliar with the term consensus, it is where everyone's opinions are heard and understood by every other member in the group, and a solution is created which respects those opinions. Consensus results in the best possible solution the group can achieve at the time. This means that even if parties disagree, there is still overall consent to move forward and settle the issue. This requires cooperation among members who have different interests and opinions. For more information on what a resolution looks like, please visit the EAMUNC website for a sample resolution.
Moving on to the press statement. The press statement is a declaration to the media made by the President of the Security Council on behalf of all members. It is issued as United Nations press release in English and French. The member nations, before moving into the process of drafting a resolution, will decide a subtopic that the press statement will address based on recent issues. Once this is completed, the Council as a whole will move on to drafting a press statement. This will be followed by a line-by-line review, just as in the case of drafting a resolution, where sponsors and non-sponsors will discuss each amendment, negotiating with each other. This can be either done by an informal session or a session moderated by the Bureau. This decision will be taken by the Bureau. Moving on, delegates, let's talk about what you're supposed to do prior to the conference. That is your research and position paper. The background guide is a good place to start your research. However, it is imperative to understand that it alone is not sufficient to produce fruitful discussions while in session. I recommend that all delegates look into past actions of your respective nations and any national or international organization concerning the given topic and thoroughly analyze its advantages and loopholes. This is sure to give you an upper hand in the resolution making process. After you have done your basic research and reading about your topic and country, you can move on to writing your position paper.
A position paper stands as a document which familiarizes the Council with your country's stance and essentially explains your opinion on the topic at hand. Writing a position paper may initially appear as a challenging task to most, but with regular research, you will be able to write a great position paper. A position paper is broadly divided into three parts. The first part is the introduction. Your introductory paragraph must contain a general overview of the issue on an international stand, giving a brief idea of the problems, its history, and perhaps some solutions. The aspect of the issue that affects your country the most can also be a part of your introduction. In the next part, you have to explain your country's stand on the issue and a few existing policies. This paragraph deals with the present situation of your country concerning this issue and past actions taken. Keep in mind that this section of your position paper will be exclusive to your country. However, in case of no significant effort being put in, delegates should explain his or her country's neutral stance or disdain with current efforts being made. The third part is a paramount part of your position paper. It deals with possible solutions your country hopes to put forward to the issue at hand. In case your country has not expressed any strong sentiments, delegates have the opportunity to put forward their own view on what can be done, keeping in mind that the suggestions do not conflict with the country's stance. This will be the most important part of your position paper as it showcases your ideas and opinions, what you feel is the best course of action. Delegates, please note that all position papers should be submitted to the Bureau before the conference. Your position paper should be about a page long. You can use the font Times New Roman and font size 12. At the end of the position paper, you need to mention your bibliography, that is, the names of sites that you have used to write your paper, essentially your source of information. Remember that it's extremely important to include all the sites that you have used for your research. Please note that plagiarism is strictly prohibited and will not be tolerated.
Moving on to the awards. While the objective of any MUN is to collectively work with other delegates in drafting a resolution by consensus, the performance and cooperation shown by each delegate in the conference will be assessed by the Bureau and awards will be given accordingly. Best Position Paper. This award is given to the delegate who succeeds in giving a detailed yet brief outline of their respective country's stance on the issue in their position paper. Best Delegate. This award is given to the delegate who portrays excellent leadership skills and diplomatic powers with his or her fellow delegates to reaching consensus, voicing their opinions and contributing creative and plausible solutions to solving the problem at hand. Diplomacy Award. The delegate or delegates who take up the initiative to work with their fellow members in a diplomatic manner and help accelerate the decision-making process will be considered worthy of this award. Honorable Mention. Delegates displaying a great sense of enthusiasm in the resolution-making process and delegates who have the potential to do better in future MUNs will be given the Honorable Mention. Please do note that only those delegates who have attended all council sessions will be eligible for awards. You must remember that it's not about the quantity of speech but the quality of speech in the given time that really matters. We do not believe that winning awards is the main purpose of an MUN. Rather, awards are a way of recognizing delegates for their hard work, cooperation, and leadership in the council.
Delegates, this may be a lot to take in. However, do try to enjoy this journey, remembering its main objective. We encourage you to pursue the topic at hand enthusiastically and do your research wholeheartedly. Do not be hesitant to share your opinion on anything being discussed. Be confident and ready to be engaged in council discussions.
Delegates, please note that since this is a virtual conference, your audio as well as your video should be on at all times. In case of any queries, do feel free to contact any of us as we are here to help and guide you. We certainly hope that you have a memorable and most importantly an educational experience. We look forward to seeing you all soon and hearing your new and creative ideas. From us at the Security Council, we wish you all the very best.